Amy for doing the initial coverage of VES. Here we're going to talk about the particulars, what is required, and how the technique is carried out. We'll start with the basics. PPE. When you're walking through a swamp, when you're handling the things in the swamp, clean them as if you're about to board an airplane. Australia is the capital to zoonotic diseases. Citric fungus kills everything it makes contact with. So if you're dealing with things with permeable skin, clean that stuff and try not to handle them unless you really, really have to. Identification. This can make what you're doing completely vestigial. If you go into an area and document it as something that looks like it, but is actually only found 3 counties over in a different electorate, or in a different state, or God forbid another country, that will completely nullify your research, and you may end up documenting and starting a fear of an invasive animal. These two guys look very similar. They are not the same animal. Are they different stages of life? The only way to tell is with a field guide. But you don't want a big chunky one that you're holding upside down. You want a specific local one, so you can get a minute certainty. That is what you are looking at. Settings, depending on what you're doing, you could be going from rock climbing for tens of kilometers to studying a pond. During this method, it can be anywhere from a small area to a huge area with completely different settings and devices being used. You can be going from GPS usage of paint, to document how many times you've seen an animal, to nothing. Just going off, we're going from a streamline to here, which sounds very unprofessional until you realize not every country is as affluent as Australia, and those are the ones where all the cool stuff is. And even when you are in these other places, you need council approval, and just people knowing that when you're trudging through picking up these critically endangered animals, there's a reason for it. Alright, I'll be passing on to Harry now to cover some of the more interesting articles on this subject. Thank you, Harry.